Hello boys and girls, and welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about estimating probabilities. Question 5. Reasoning. Restaurant owner Maurice recorded the number of seats reserved for each booking during a week. Now, as you can see here in this diagram or this table, we have seats and the frequency of booking these seats during a week. Now, as you can see, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seats, and we have the frequency for each one of them. Now, let's take a look at the questions. Question A. Copy and complete the table. Now, we're going to complete the table. Completing the table means what? Means finding the total number of frequency and then finding the relative frequencies for each one of them. Now, let's continue or complete this table and then we will continue the questions. Now, first thing first, we find the total frequency. Now we have 30, 10, 25, 5, and 10. When you add them together, what do you get? Very good. Let's count them together. Okay, these are 40, 50, and this is 30. So it's 80 together, right? Good. So here we have 80. Very good. Now, this is the total number of frequencies. We found the total number of frequencies. Now, let's find the relative frequency for each event. Now, first thing, what do? We take the frequency and divide it on the total number of frequencies to get the relative frequency. Very good. Now, let's write it here. So the first one will be what? It will be 30 over 80. Very good. So 30, over 80. And we will do the same for the rest of the events. So this one is 10 over 80. Same idea. 10 over 80. So all of them will be over 80. Basically the event or the frequency of the event over the total number of frequencies. Very good. This one is 25. This one is 5 over 80. Good. And the last one is 10 over 80. And like this, we completed the table and we found the total number of frequencies, and then we wrote the relative frequency for each event. Now let's answer the questions together. B. Estimate the probability that the next booking will be for 2 seats. Estimate the probability that the next booking will be for 2 seats. Now, the probability for 2 seats, we're going to use the relative frequency of the 2 seats. Now, let's use this, which is this one, 30 over 80. So it's going to be 30 over 80. Or we can say 3 over 8. We will write it here as 30 over 80. Or 3 over 8, same idea. Now, we estimated the probability of having 2 seats, or the booking, or next booking will be for 2 seats. It's going to be 30 over 80. You can turn this into a decimal by dividing 30 over 80 with a calculator, and you can turn it into a percentage by multiplying it by 100. And this is the probability, it's 30 over 80. Now, next one says, Maurice says that it is unlikely that a booking will be for less than 4 people. Is he correct? Explain how you know. Now, this guy said here, it's unlikely that the next or the booking will be less. That the booking will be less or for less than 4 people. He means that 2 and 3. He means that 2 and 3 because he said less than 4 people. So he's saying that 2 and 3, the percentage of 2 and 3 is unlikely to happen. Is that correct or no? Now, how do we know that? We take the relative frequency of 2 and 3 and we add them together and find the percentage of these seats. If they are between 0 and 50, and they have to be less than 50%, it means they are unlikely. That's the idea. Now let's take a look at the frequencies here. We have 30 over 80 and we have 10 over 80. So we're going to take them, add them together here. Let's work here. So we have 30 and 40, right? So we have 30 over 80. Sorry. Plus 10 over 80 equals 40 over 80. And to turn this into a percentage, we multiply it by 100. Now, 40 over 80 multiplied by 100, you'll find this percentage. If it's less than 50%, it's unlikely to happen. But if it's more than 50%, it's going to be likely to happen. If it's 50%, it's going to be even chances. Now, let's go check with the calculator and then come back. 40 divide 80 equals, and then you multiply it by 100 equals 50%. And this is the answer, or this is the percentage for this probability. It's 50%. Now, let's go back. So the answer is 50%. Let's write it here, okay, as a percentage. Yes, so 50%. Now, when we talk about the 50%, is this unlikely to happen? Very good. It's not. It's even chances. So how did we know that? We took the two frequencies here, we add them together, and then we multiplied them by 100 to get 50%. And because the percentage is 50%, it means they have even chances with the other seats or the other bookings to happen. Now, let's answer question D. The restaurant has approximately 240 bookings each month. How many of these would you expect to be for 4 seats? Now, he wants to know, out of 240 bookings, how many of them will be for 4 seats approximately. Now, this is easy. You just take the frequency or relative frequency of 4 seats, which is 25 out of 80, and you multiply it by this number. Let's take it and do it together. We have 25 out of 80. Let's put it here. 25 out of 80. And then you multiply it by 240. And you'll get the answer. Now, let's use the calculator and put the answer here. Okay. Now, let's use the calculator for this one and then come back. So 240 multiplied by 25 and then divide 80 equals. So we will have approximately 75 bookings for 4 seats. Now, let's go back. So the answer will be 75. Let's put it here. 75. Very good. So the answer for this question, question D, is 75 bookings out of 24 bookings. Now, how did we do this? We took the relative frequency of 4 seats and then we multiply it by the number he gave us. And this is how you find questions, or how you find answers for questions like these. You find as I said, you find the total frequency and you find the relative frequencies for each one of them, and you use them to find number of seats or number of bookings for each event by itself, or for 2 events together, like we said, 2 seats and 3 seats together. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.